Article 1. The role of big data in climate change research. The advent of big data has revolutionized many fields, and climate change research is no exception. By aggregating vast quantities of data from various sources, researchers can now generate more accurate models to understand complex climate systems. The proliferation of satellites, sensors, and other digital tools has provided an unprecedented amount of data, enabling scientists to track atmospheric changes in real time. However, the sheer volume of this data also presents challenges, as it requires sophisticated methods of analysis and vast computational power to make sense of the information. One of the most significant contributions of big data to climate research is in climate modeling. Traditional climate models relied on relatively limited datasets and made broad assumptions about various environmental factors. Big data has changed this by integrating high-resolution datasets that allow for more granular analysis. For example, instead of using a single temperature reading for an entire region, researchers can now use thousands of data points accounting for minute variations in temperature, humidity, and atmospheric pressure. This level of detail makes the models not only more accurate but also more predictive. Beyond improving the accuracy of models, big data is also critical in identifying and analyzing climate change indicators. Datasets from different sources, such as ocean temperatures, ice sheet thickness, and co-levels, can be cross-referenced to identify trends that may not have been evident from individual data streams. This multidimensional approach allows for a better understanding of how different environmental factors interact. Moreover, machine learning algorithms can process this data faster than traditional methods, allowing researchers to detect patterns and predict outcomes more efficiently. Another vital application of big data in climate change research is in the realm of mitigation strategies. Governments and organizations need accurate data to inform policies aimed at reducing carbon emissions and adapting to a changing climate. For instance, big data can help monitor the effectiveness of renewable energy initiatives or track deforestation rates in real time. By identifying hotspots of carbon emissions or areas prone to natural disasters, big data helps policymakers implement more targeted and effective climate action. Big data is also playing a crucial role in climate change adaptation. With the help of big data analytics, researchers can better predict extreme weather events like hurricanes, floods, and droughts, thereby giving governments and communities more time to prepare. For example, machine learning models can analyze historical weather patterns alongside current satellite data to forecast the likelihood of severe weather events in specific areas. This can significantly reduce the damage caused by these events, as timely evacuation and mitigation strategies can be employed. However, despite the many advantages of big data in climate change research, there are also notable challenges. One of the most pressing issues is data quality. While the volume of available data has increased, not all of it is accurate or reliable. Sensors may fail, satellite images may be obstructed by clouds, and data collection techniques may vary across regions. This inconsistency can lead to inaccuracies in climate models, potentially skewing the results. Another challenge is the disparity in access to big data technologies between developed and developing nations. While wealthy countries have the infrastructure and resources to collect and analyze massive datasets, many developing nations lack the necessary tools. This digital divide means that some regions, particularly those most vulnerable to climate change, may not benefit from the advancements in data-driven climate research. Furthermore, the computational demands of analyzing big data are immense. Processing vast datasets requires powerful supercomputers and sophisticated algorithms, resources that are expensive and not universally accessible. The environmental costs of these technologies are also worth considering, as large data centers consume significant amounts of energy, which could contribute to the very problem researchers are trying to solve. Despite these challenges, the role of big data in climate change research is indispensable. As the climate continues to change, the ability to analyze and interpret vast amounts of information will be crucial for mitigating its effects and adapting to new environmental realities. Researchers and policymakers alike must continue to invest in big data technologies, ensuring that this critical tool remains at the forefront of climate science. Article 2. The history and cultural significance of the Kremlin. The Kremlin, located in the heart of Moscow, Russia, is one of the most iconic and historically significant structures in the world. Serving as the political and spiritual center of Russia for centuries, the Kremlin has been the seat of Russian power and the home to its most important leaders, from Tsars to Soviet premiers and now the President of the Russian Federation. It is much more than just a fortress. It represents the rich, tumultuous history of Russia itself, encapsulating the evolution of Russian identity and governance. The name Kremlin originates from the Russian word for fortress, and the site has functioned as a military stronghold since its founding in the 12th century. Its strategic location on the Moskva River provided natural defenses against invading armies. Throughout history, it has been expanded and fortified, reflecting the changing military and political needs of the nation. The Kremlin's imposing walls and towers, built primarily in the 15th century under Ivan the Great, have become symbolic of Russian resilience. Architecturally, the Kremlin is a blend of medieval Russian, Byzantine, and Renaissance styles. Its most notable structures include the Assumption Cathedral, the Archangel Cathedral, and the Church of the Deposition of the Robe, which together form the religious heart of the complex. These religious buildings highlight the importance of Orthodox Christianity in Russian culture and governance. Additionally, the Kremlin houses the Grand Kremlin Palace and the Senate, which emphasize the political power concentrated within its walls. One of the key cultural functions of the Kremlin is its role as the repository of Russian history and heritage. Within its grounds lie numerous museums and treasures, including the State Kremlin Museums, which house relics of the Russian Tsars, medieval artifacts, and works of art. The Armory Chamber, for example, contains priceless items such as Fabergé eggs, royal carriages, and the coronation robes of Russian monarchs. These artifacts showcase the Kremlin's role in preserving Russia's imperial and cultural legacy. The Kremlin's role in Russian governance has evolved dramatically over time. During the reign of the Tsars, it was the symbol of absolute power. However, following the Russian Revolution of 1917, it became the seat of the Soviet government. Lenin moved the capital from St. Petersburg back to Moscow, signaling the importance of the Kremlin as a center of political authority. Under Soviet rule, it took on a new role as the command center for the Communist Party, a shift that marked the start of its association with global communist power. In addition to its political and historical significance, the Kremlin has also played a major role in Russian diplomacy. It has hosted numerous state visits and summits, and its grandeur has impressed world leaders for generations. Today, it remains the official residence of the President of Russia and continues to be a site of high-level diplomatic activity. The Kremlin's influence on both domestic and international politics cannot be overstated. The Kremlin is also a symbol of Russian nationalism. Its towers, such as the Spasskaya Tower with its iconic clock, have been used in Soviet and Russian propaganda to evoke feelings of pride and unity. Even the Red Star, which tops several of the towers, became a symbol of Soviet power. In modern times, it remains an enduring emblem of the Russian state, revered by citizens and respected internationally. Today, the Kremlin is a UNESCO World Heritage Site recognized not only for its architectural splendor but also for its historical importance. Visitors from all over the world come to admire its walls, towers, and churches, as well as to experience a piece of Russia's long and complex history. Its significance transcends its function as a political hub. It is a cultural monument that continues to shape Russia's national identity. Article 3. The role of artificial intelligence in disaster management. Artificial intelligence (AI) has emerged as a transformative technology across various sectors, including disaster management. With the increasing frequency and intensity of natural disasters due to climate change, the integration of AI into disaster response strategies is becoming increasingly critical. AI encompasses a wide range of technologies, including machine learning, natural language processing, and predictive analytics, which can significantly enhance the efficiency and effectiveness of disaster management efforts. One of the primary applications of AI in disaster management is in the realm of predictive analytics. By analyzing vast amounts of data from multiple sources, the AI algorithms can predict the likelihood and potential impact of disasters. For example, AI can process data from weather satellites, historical disaster records, and social media to identify patterns and generate forecasts. This predictive capability allows government agencies and organizations to allocate resources effectively, prepare evacuation plans, and inform communities at risk, ultimately reducing the loss of life and property. In addition to predictive analytics, AI plays a crucial role in real-time decision-making during disasters. For instance, machine learning algorithms can analyze incoming data streams from emergency services, traffic systems, and social media to provide real-time updates on the situation. This information can help first responders prioritize their actions, directing them to the most affected areas and optimizing their resource allocation. Moreover, AI-driven platforms can facilitate communication among various agencies, ensuring that critical information is shared swiftly and accurately. Another significant application of AI in disaster management is through the use of drones and autonomous vehicles. These technologies can be deployed in hazardous environments where human intervention may be risky. Drones equipped with AI can conduct aerial surveys of disaster-stricken areas, assess damage, and identify survivors. Furthermore, autonomous vehicles can navigate through debris and challenging terrains to deliver supplies or assist in evacuation efforts. The ability to operate in dangerous conditions enhances the effectiveness of disaster response operations. AI can also improve post-disaster recovery efforts. Machine learning algorithms can analyze damage assessments to identify patterns and prioritize reconstruction efforts. For example, AI can evaluate the severity of damage across different neighborhoods and suggest resource allocation strategies for rebuilding infrastructure. Additionally, AI can assist in monitoring recovery progress by analyzing data from various sources, such as satellite imagery and social media posts. This ongoing analysis helps stakeholders understand the effectiveness of their recovery initiatives and make necessary adjustments. Despite the promising applications of AI in disaster management, several challenges must be addressed. One significant concern is data privacy and security. The collection and analysis of vast amounts of data raise ethical questions regarding consent and the potential misuse of sensitive information. Moreover, ensuring the accuracy of AI algorithms is critical, as flawed data or biases in training datasets can lead to erroneous predictions and decisions that could jeopardize lives during emergencies. Another challenge is the integration of AI technologies into existing disaster management frameworks. Many organizations may lack the technical expertise and infrastructure to implement AI solutions effectively. To overcome this barrier, training programs and partnerships between technology providers and disaster management agencies are essential. These collaborations can help build capacity and facilitate the adoption of AI technologies in disaster response efforts. Furthermore, public acceptance of AI technologies is crucial for their successful implementation in disaster management. Communities must trust the systems and processes that utilize AI for decision-making, especially in high-stakes scenarios such as disasters. Engaging with communities, providing transparency about how AI systems operate, and addressing concerns about biases and inaccuracies will be vital in building this trust. In conclusion, AI holds significant potential to revolutionize disaster management through predictive analytics, real-time decision-making, autonomous technologies, and post-disaster recovery enhancements. However, addressing the challenges of data privacy, integration, and public acceptance is essential for realizing this potential fully. As technology continues to evolve, it is imperative that disaster management agencies leverage AI to enhance their capabilities and improve the resilience of communities in the face of disasters. Article 4. The impact of deforestation on indigenous communities. Deforestation is the large-scale removal of trees and forests, often resulting in significant ecological and social consequences. As one of the most pressing environmental issues of our time, it affects biodiversity, climate change, and the livelihoods of numerous communities worldwide. Among those most affected are indigenous communities, who often rely on forests for their cultural, economic, and spiritual sustenance. The relationship between indigenous peoples and forests is deeply intertwined, making the consequences of deforestation particularly acute for these groups. Indigenous communities typically inhabit regions with rich biodiversity, relying on the forest not only for resources like food, medicine, and shelter, but also for cultural identity. The forests are not merely physical spaces, they are integral to the spiritual beliefs and practices of these communities. When forests are destroyed, indigenous peoples lose more than just their homes, as they lose their way of life. The cultural knowledge passed down through generations is at risk of being eroded as the environment that shapes it disappears. The economic impacts of deforestation on indigenous communities are profound. Traditionally, these communities engage in sustainable practices such as shifting agriculture and hunting, which are often disrupted by large-scale logging or agricultural expansion. Deforestation can lead to a loss of traditional livelihoods, forcing indigenous peoples to adapt to economic systems that do not align with their values or needs. This economic marginalization can result in increased poverty, reduced food security, and a reliance on external markets that can be volatile and exploitative. In addition to economic consequences, deforestation can significantly impact the health and well-being of indigenous peoples. Forests provide critical ecosystem services, including clean air and water, which are essential for human health. The destruction of these ecosystems can lead to increased respiratory issues, waterborne diseases, and a decline in mental health due to the loss of cultural and spiritual connections to the land. Moreover, the displacement resulting from deforestation can create additional stressors, as indigenous communities are often forced to relocate to less desirable areas, further disrupting their social structures. The socio-political dimensions of deforestation are also noteworthy. Indigenous communities often find themselves at the forefront of environmental conflicts, as their land rights are frequently disregarded in favor of corporate interests. In many regions, indigenous peoples lack legal recognition of their land rights, making it easier for governments and corporations to exploit these lands without consent. This marginalization can lead to social unrest, as indigenous groups mobilize to defend their rights and protect their ancestral lands. The struggle for land rights becomes a fight for cultural survival, as these communities seek to assert their identities in the face of external pressures. Furthermore, the global implications of deforestation must be considered. As forests are destroyed, the consequences extend beyond local ecosystems and indigenous communities. Deforestation contributes to climate change by releasing stored carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, exacerbating global warming and its associated impacts. This creates a vicious cycle, as climate change can further threaten the forests that indigenous peoples rely upon. The fight against deforestation, therefore, is not merely a local issue, it is a global imperative that necessitates the involvement of various stakeholders, including governments and those in the private sector. Efforts to mitigate the impacts of deforestation on indigenous communities are increasingly gaining attention. Initiatives that promote sustainable land use practices, recognize indigenous land rights, and involve communities in decision-making processes have shown promise. For example, community-based forestry management programs allow indigenous peoples to manage their forests sustainably while benefiting economically. These initiatives not only help preserve biodiversity, but also empower indigenous communities to maintain their cultural practices and traditional knowledge. Additionally, the role of technology and innovation in addressing deforestation cannot be overlooked. Advancements in remote sensing and geographic information systems just provide valuable tools for monitoring forest health and tracking changes in land use. These technologies can facilitate more effective management of forest resources and support indigenous communities in advocating for their rights. However, it is crucial that such technologies are implemented with the involvement of indigenous peoples to ensure that their perspectives and needs are prioritized. In conclusion, the impact of deforestation on indigenous communities is multifaceted, encompassing cultural, economic, health, and social dimensions. The destruction of forests threatens not only the livelihoods of these communities, but also their cultural identities and traditional knowledge systems. Addressing deforestation requires a holistic approach that recognizes the rights of indigenous peoples and involves them in the stewardship of their lands. As the world grapples with environmental challenges, the voices and knowledge of indigenous communities must be integral to the solutions we pursue. The future of our forests and the countless lives they sustain depends on it.